this broadcast in the new year of 2023. So happy to be here with you and appreciate you so much for joining the broadcast here where sports meets that thing called life. Wake Up Call is on the road. We get to start off the new year of 2023 on the road, which is fantastic. I got to begin 2023 with a broadcast to take us from New Year's Eve into New Year's Day with Andrea Smith, and we got to do our two mics, no filter. You definitely want to go back and check out that special where we talk about relationships as well as so much more. Relationships, dating apps, dating, parenting, and really get into it. We speak about New Year's too, as well as, things that we've learned from that and experiences at New Year's. Do you kiss on the first date? So we definitely had a great time with our newest broadcast of Two Mics, No Filter, which really goes anywhere, but we do a lot about relationships and, we try to spread some wisdom and give you some thoughts on different things and help you out, and we always love hearing from you. So make sure you write into the show. And you can definitely respond to any one of those videos by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For Two Mics No Filter is on the Wake Up Call DT YouTube channel, and you could search Two Mics No Filter, and you can watch those videos and reply to those videos and let us know what you're thinking. But I am so happy to be here with you from Dallas, Texas, and I've gotten to do some things in Houston before, but this is the first time that we have ever broadcasted live from the Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington area, and first time I ever got to go to the Cowboys Stadium at AT&T Stadium. So first time I'm getting to experience Dallas, which is crazy and so amazing. And it's rendered me somewhat, I don't want to say speechless, because obviously I'm talking about it, but it's put me in a place where I am so grateful, right? I am so grateful, and it's been truly incredible to be here. I mean, you got the stadium behind me, by the way. That's my picture of when Tulane won. So yeah, Tulane is champions. That's my picture that's featured here behind me in the backdrop today, and I took that picture from the press box. And I mean, we have so much to get into. I am so excited and so happy to be here, and so thankful to God for this opportunity. I was a little kid dreaming about coming to see the Cowboys, right? Come to see their stadium, come to see their home. And that was so many years ago. I was in elementary school. So to be able to be here and see Dallas and see Cowboys Stadium, and then on top of all of that, to see a team win that I've covered for almost a decade now in the Tulane Green Wave, and to do it against a team like USC, who had national hopes. Really, it has national hopes every year, and this year we're pushing for the opportunity to be in the college football playoff. So, there's so many great things to talk about today, and I'm just so excited. I mean, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. Every year we do over 200 broadcasts, and we did that in 2022. We celebrated 10 years of my company, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, on July 20th of 2022, and I stand here before you now, or I sit here with you now, I should say. And we're in 2023. We're heading by November of this year. I will have been a broadcaster for 20 years, and which is insane because I'm 37 years old. And I mean, this has been incredible. This experience of life, of being able to do what I love and love what I do has, it's been game changing. It's been truly game changing, and being here in Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington and get to see the stadium and step out on the field after the game and take some pictures and shoot my video, and I have chills still, so really nice way to start 2023. And I'm so happy that, wake up call, as we branch out, as we grow, as we blossom, as we evolve, that I get to be here with you doing that right at the beginning of the year. Thank you, Ross. I appreciate you. But that I'm sitting here in the beginning of 2023 saying we are evolving, we are branching out, we are growing, we are blossoming. I mean, for goodness sakes, we're doing the show live from Texas. And we've been able to go live from Texas, from Pennsylvania, from Florida, from Massachusetts, from the Carolinas, and this this is my life, and I'm so grateful for it. And I really, really hope that you're out there chasing your dreams in 2023. I hope you're not settling in your relationships. I hope you're not settling with your friends. I hope you're not settling with your family. I hope you're not settling with your job. I want you, or where you live, I want you to chase what you want in 2023 and trust that God will help you find what you need. Life is a lot of things, and it's not easy. It's not always fair, and it sometimes feels like it takes more than it gives. But when you go after what you want and you believe in yourself, the incredible results of that are undeniable. They are fruitful and precious. When you go after what you want, there is no stopping you. And you can attain so many great things. And the thing on top of that is that you become a beacon for somebody else. See, when you achieve your dreams, when you chase your dreams, when you don't settle, when you go after what you really want in life, and you don't waste a moment, you become a beacon of hope for somebody to let them know that they can do it. So you're never just chasing your dreams. You're never just doing for you. You're never just taking care of yourself. You're helping other people, whether you know it or not. And so it's imperative every single day to go the extra mile, to try. Yeah, you need to rest. Yes, you need to relax. I'm not saying drive yourself nuts. I'm saying give everything you have. Do everything you can. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental. Take care of your emotional, your social, your physical, your spiritual, your monetary. Take care of your health and your well-being overall. And get after it. Okay? I'm down here in Texas broadcasting live today because I believe in myself. And number one, because God is great. And God has always been by my side. And God has always looked out for me. And God has helped me with everything. Everything. And number two, hard work, dedication, determination, belief, perseverance, patience. I've been wanting to come down to Dallas since I was like 9. I'm 37. So I come to you this morning, starting off 2023, with a smile, achieving something that has just given me chills. And I'm so happy to be here with you today to do this broadcast. We are live for you worldwide on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. And so we're very happy to be here with you on all of those outlets worldwide, so you can hear us in Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington, all throughout Texas, upstate New York, and around the entire world, our second home of Florida as well. You can also hear us on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT, and you can hear us on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And it's weird for me because you gain an hour when you come from New York to the great state of Texas. And to me, I gain an hour, but then I had to get up an hour early to do the broadcast, because to you on the East Coast, we're doing it normal time. To me, it is 8 o'clock. It is 8:18 in the morning. So happy to get up early with you and to do this broadcast and to have some fun with it. We're going to be talking about a lot of things here as I speak on my experience of the Cotton Bowl Classic. Now, I've covered the Cotton Bowl before during these COVID times, and in covering it, did it from afar. They allowed us to do it virtually, so I did a lot of virtual work recently here with the Cotton Bowl, and had the opportunity to interview Luke Fickell, who I talked to his entire time pretty much at Cincinnati, and I also had the opportunity to speak with Nick Saban, and for the first time ever in my history, which was awesome. Of course, the head coach of Alabama. So having the opportunity to do those things, really, really fun, really, really cool, and got to do that through the Cotton Bowl. And I want to thank the Cotton Bowl for that. I want to thank them for, the opportunity to do things virtually, and I want to thank them on top of that for what we got to do this year, to be on site, on location, and to be bringing you this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, and to be able to do this live from Texas, today after being at the Cotton Bowl. It was a fantastic experience to be here at the Cotton Bowl. And, you hear the people talk about it. In Tulane, I mean, here they are, they won a championship, they won the Cotton Bowl, and they won the American Athletic Championship before that. So here they are celebrating and having a great time. And what's Willie Fritz saying, the Tulane head coach, when he's sitting up there at the podium? He's saying, listen, I want to thank the Cotton Bowl for treating us like kings. This has been a great experience. They've been good to us. They have, they've treated us amazingly. And, I love that, I mean, think about that. You won a championship. You're thinking about the championship. You're thinking about your team. You're thinking about success and everything you guys did this season. And you got your head coach sitting up there going, hey, before we say anything, I definitely, and Rob said, get Mike Oresco on to talk about the victory. He will be on. So he'll be coming on this week. So he is actually traveling this morning, or else we would be doing something with him right now. So I do appreciate that. Mike Oresco, the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference, a good friend and somebody, I got to build a relationship with through work. So, we met in my coverage of the American before the American had a name or a logo, and meeting from there and just talking with each other and building up, our professional relationship. We also have created an awesome friendship, and so Mike Oresco and I actually did talk after the game. He was on site for the game, and he will be on the show. So appreciate the thoughts, Rob. And he will be coming on the show this week, so I could tell you to stay tuned for that. He will be joining us, which I'm really excited about. The opportunity to speak with Mike Oresco, as him and I have spoken for many, many years about the power of this conference and the special, what this conference brings to the table, what it does. This American Athletic Conference has won games over and over and over again, and still doesn't get the credit that they deserve. Here they are winning yet another game, another difficult game against another difficult team in the quote-unquote Power Five. So, there's a lot to be said about the fact that they continue to win no matter who you put in front of them, no matter what, you say they are or they're not. They continue to change the narrative on their conference, and, they've had to fight through this ridiculous narrative, which I think is wildly unfair. And it's something that has chased them because the media decided to write it, and the media decided to hold on to it, and the media decided that it couldn't change its mind in a lot of ways. But there are some people who have changed their mind, and there are some people who are logical and rational and actually do their research and their homework and realize that the American Athletic Conference has consistently beaten teams from the quote-unquote Power Five in non-conference and in these postseason bowl games. So, how many times does a UCF or a Cincinnati or a Tulane or a Memphis have to beat teams for people to just take a step back and go, oh, okay, they're not that bad. Oh, they can actually win this. I mean, East Carolina's done some things over the years as well. It's they're sending guys to the NFL. These teams inside of the American Athletic Conference, they're sending guys to the NFL. They're sending high draft picks to the NFL. They're sending guys to the NFL that become starters. And on top of that, they're winning these huge bowl games, these New Year's Six bowl games. They're going to a ton of New Year's Six bowls, and Mike and I will be talking about that. And in non-conference, they are playing really, really difficult teams. And the thing is even in the games where they've lost, there's teams that have pushed the Oklahomas and the Oklahoma States of the world, Tulane being one of those teams. So, Tulane played Kansas State this year and got a victory. And then here they are playing USC, and a lot of people giving them no chance whatsoever to win this game. I picked Tulane. Before the game started. And I was riding with Willie Fritz, whether, people thought I was nuts or they won the game. And I'm so happy to see that. Now, we did get a bunch of messages coming in here. Greg said, many extra blessings this morning. Good morning, DT. Early morning show from the Lone Star State. Yes, sir. Michael said, hello. Prayers up, DeMar Hamlin. And yes, we will speak on DeMar in just a second here. A man's life is such bigger than money. And then DeMar Strong is the hashtag that Michael put up. So thank you all for watching wherever you are around the country and the world. I appreciate you so very much here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So, there's a lot to talk about on today's broadcast as we broadcast live from the Dallas-Arlington, Fort Worth area in Texas. Beautiful state, the Lone Star State. And sometimes, that beacon of hope, over these last couple of years in a lot of ways of trying to keep freedoms and trying to protect people's ability to interact with each other and live our lives, right? So, Texas has been a lot of beautiful things, and the people here have been incredible. So we're definitely going to talk about a lot of different things this morning. But before we go anywhere, I do want to speak on DeMar Hamlin. So DeMar Hamlin played for the Pitt Panthers. And, I cover the Pitt Panthers. I have for a very long time. Watched Pittsburgh play Syracuse since I was a little kid, and have covered Pittsburgh for many, many years. So, him coming from Pitt and then moving out of Buffalo, close quarters for my areas. And even if he played overseas for some team I didn't know in France, the reality of it all is DeMar Hamlin, I've never seen that. I've never seen that before. And, for those of you that don't know, he made a tackle in yesterday's game against the Cincinnati Bengals on the road, and he made the tackle, hard tackle, went to the ground, jumped back, got back up, and then just kind of looked and fell backwards and just laid there on the field. Very scary, and just a really what is going on moment. Was taken to the hospital. Allegedly, they administered CPR while he was on the field, and the Bills this morning had said that he went into cardiac arrest. He is in critical condition right now at a hospital in Cincinnati. So our prayers go out to DeMar Hamlin, and our well wishes go out to DeMar Hamlin. I can appreciate that he is the topic of conversation this morning. I'm happy. It shows that humanity still stands for something good. People sending out prayers. I know there's people on media outlets that couldn't say God. They're like, oh, we're praying to the skies. Well, what's in the sky? But, people still trying to be politically correct while you're praying for the life of a human being. Who are you praying to? A crystal? What are you praying to? A rock? Are you praying to a television? Are you praying to a cloud? Who are you praying to? Whatever no. We're praying to God. Okay? We're praying to God. Because even people that don't believe in God pray to God when they need something. And, my takeaway from yesterday is that, number one, this man's life is more important than anything. And that's reality. His life is more important. His life is more important than the football game. His life is more important than who wins. His life is more important than playoff implications. It's not even even have that come out of my mouth. I mean, how could any of that be more important? Nothing is. So, to see what I took away from yesterday, that was a beautiful thing in a scary situation, is that people came together and they prayed. People publicly. Now, hopefully people didn't put public things out so they could get retweets and posts. Let me just write Damar Hamlin's name so I can build up my followers. I hope you didn't do that. Not only were people praying yesterday, but they were praying publicly. And they were sharing it around the world. So I said, what a way to start 2023. That there's hope in mankind, right? There's hope in human beings. And that we still believe in God. We still believe in the power of prayer. We still believe in coming together for a common goal. We still believe in helping each other. We still believe in goodness. We still believe in selflessness. We still have hearts. We still have souls. We still care, And that's what I took away. What happened to Damar Hamlin is crazy. It's crazy. Scary. And for people using what happened to Damar to seek some type of personal gain or vendetta, listen, I hope you change your ways. If you don't, God has a funny way of calling your butt out. And today is not about what type of political positioning you can use. It's not about COVID. It's not about anything else other than the fact that something happened to Damar Hamlin that is so rare. And as rare as it has been, it happened. It happened to an innocent man. And now he is in critical condition, fighting for his right to start off the new year with the rest of us. So what we're going to do on this show is we're going to pray to God, not to something, not to some unnamed being that we can't say the name of because we don't want to piss anybody off. We're going to pray to God on today's show. Now, some of you call him Allah. Some of you are Buddhist. Some of you are Muslim. Some of you are Hindu. Some of you are Catholic, other forms of Christian, Jewish, and so on and so forth. I welcome you to pray with me. I may call God something different than you. I may pray different than you. But if I believe in anything, it's in the power of prayer and the power of people who reach out to their maker, however they call that maker, and however they pray. So with that being said, we're going to pray on today's broadcast, a wake-up call. We're going to pray right now. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, I come to you this morning thanking you for all of your blessings, thanking you for everything that we have in our lives, for just simply waking up this morning. Hopefully we woke up this morning realizing just how fragile life is and how easily it can be taken away. We pray for our brother, Damar Hamlin. Damar, as you know, is fighting to be here with us in 2023. And Lord, I pray that you heal him completely. You heal him for good. And you heal him through you. And that he handles well whatever comes his way. May you guide the hands of the doctors. May you guide their decision-making in their minds. And above all things, may you guide their heart to care for this man, to care for his family, as they do every person and family all over the world. May he have the best services, the best doctors, the best medicine, and may he come home to his family. May 2023 be a time for him to reflect on how beautiful and fragile and incredible it is to be alive. But to be alive, to think back on that moment and say, man, that was tough, man, that was hard, but I'm okay. May he not have PTSD from this moment, because I know that's another piece of it too, that when he comes home, may he come home. May he be okay. May he be okay in all ways, mentally, in his mind, in his heart, in his body, and in his soul. Please, God, protect Damar Hamlin and his loved ones. And I would be remiss if I came here only today to pray for Damar. I pray for everybody that needs you. I pray for everybody in hospitals or needs to be in a hospital. I pray for people with broken hearts. I pray for people who are suffering the loss of a loved one. I pray for people that are in any type of physical angst, people that know what's wrong with them and people that don't, people that are searching for answers and people that may not like the answers that they received. God, please, may none of us have life-threatening issues going on. May none of us be on the verge of death. And may none of us have long-term negative things happening. If any of those things are true, please heal us. I believe in miracles. I believe in you. And help us to handle whatever comes our way. If anything is going wrong, may it be short-term, and may we heal from it. May we be well. God, may nothing be too great for your power, for your love. Please heal us, help us, love us, and never stop believing in us. I believe in you with everything that I am, and I love you. May we be healthy, safe, and happy, filled with all of your most precious gifts, to do your will and be well. Remember, it's not just about being well, but also doing your will. May we love each other, and may we be safe and sound together, even through death. May our loved ones be with us and us with them. And please forgive us of all of our sins. Take care of Damar Hamlin, his loved ones, and everybody who needs you, because we all do. In some way, shape, or form, we all do. Please do not turn your back on your children, despite the fact that some of them have turned their back on you. I love you, God. Thank you for everything. Please put your healing hand on this world today. And anything else that you need to do, do it with love. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. When we come back, we'll talk about the College Bowl Classic experience and continue to go into 2023 positive, happy, loving, and together.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. And Michael said a great thing here. He said, let's hope this ends with happiness, not sadness, speaking on Damar Hamlin, you know. And I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. So I thank you all again for being with me in prayer. And listen, prayer is a beautiful thing. It's a powerful thing. You know, I'm going to tell you a couple things here to start off 2023. You can agree with me or not agree with me, but I have to say it. God exists. God loves you. Prayer works. And talking to God and having a relationship with God is the best thing that you could do. And don't just go to God when you need something. And remember to thank God when you do get something good. You know, I'm not saying that hard work isn't a part of it. I'm not saying that you don't have a place in it. You know, people that don't want to believe in God are like, well, I did this myself and I brought myself here. I got the job. I'm the one that put on the pantsuit and went to work. I'm the one that put on that shirt and tie and went after that job. Yeah, you are. But how'd that job come about? Oh, I bumped into somebody that I hadn't seen in 20 years. Well, who do you think did that? Well, it's just fate. It's just, you know, it's how the world works. Oh, really? Well, how could you be there in this exact same time to bump into that person? How did that happen? Oh, it just happens. Why? Well, because the universe was looking out for me. Okay, well, who built the universe? You know, so God exists. God loves you. And remember to say thank you. And remember to not just ask for things, but to give things, right? It's not good enough to be like, hey, God, I want all this stuff, and I'm going to keep sinning and being selfish and doing all these things that I want to do, but you keep giving me stuff, okay? You know, just like any relationship, it's a two-way street. The only difference between your relationship with God and your relationship with other people, is that as much as it's a two-way street, the two-way street that you're on with God is with perfection. Someone who will not let you down. Well, Dan, you know, I didn't get that job. That girl didn't say yes. One of my family members died. So how can you say that God gives me everything I could have ever dreamed of? Well, he gives you what you need, right? Somebody might pass away and you say, well, God, why didn't you keep him here? And God said, well, I'm going to give you strength from it. I'm going to give you patience from it. I'm going to give you the ability to handle adversity from it. Well, God, this girl that I asked out, she didn't say yes. What am I supposed to learn from it? Well, I saw down the road my child, and I saw what was going to happen with that person and what they were going to do to you, and I prevented you from it. She was more than a pretty face. Okay. Well, God, I didn't get that house. Well, you know, that neighborhood's going to go downhill in 5 years, and I didn't want you to be there. Or I don't want you to be next to that neighbor. I don't want you to be put in that situation. See, we look at tragedy and strife and we say that's why God doesn't exist. Right? God doesn't exist because when I was poor, he didn't give me money. God doesn't exist because my mom died of cancer, because my grandfather died when I was little. You know, God doesn't exist because 9/11 happened. And people say, well, why didn't God stop the planes? Well, why didn't God stop the cancer? Well, why didn't God give me my grandfather when I was little? And I can't tell you why those planes didn't stop. I can tell you that some evil people were flying them. I can't tell you why your loved one passed away from cancer. I can't. And why some people beat it and other people, it just stays there. I don't know why. It's a question that I can't answer, but I'm not God. What I can tell you is my grandfather's passing away 31 years ago taught me how to be a strong person, taught me how to handle adversity. It taught me how to know that your support system may not be there physically every single moment, and you have to learn how to live without them there, without hearing their voice, without their hugs and their kisses. You have to be strong on your own. Your happiness has to come from within. Your strength has to come from within. And people can affect that positively or negatively if you let them, but you have to be strong and loving to yourself and happy from within, or else you will never be okay. And what did it teach me when my marriage ended? It taught me to not settle. I knew on my wedding day that I was settling, and I stayed with it, and I got hurt more as time went on. Well, I don't have kids yet. Well, if I had had kids with anybody that I was with, it would have been a horrible situation, and I would have had to visit those kids every once in a while through custody instead of coming home and seeing them every day, because I wouldn't be with those women. So when you look at, well, God didn't give me everything I wanted. No. But what did you get from it? Right? Unfortunately, we have to go through people passing away. We have to go through strife. We have to go through adversity. We have to go through hearing no. We have to go through things not working out to keep fighting. Sometimes God is checking in to make sure we have faith. Faith. Faith is easy when you get DuckTales bags of money dropping from the sky. Faith is easy when the first person you ask out becomes your wife or your husband. Faith is easy when you become $1 million, person. You become a millionaire by barely, getting into your job, right? You walk into your career and 2 months in, you make $1 million. Faith is easy when you have a big house and a bunch of cars. Faith is easy when everybody's healthy and everything's going well. Faith is easy when life is easy. But faith is meant to be there when life is impossible. And that's why faith, hope, and love, right? And what do they say in the Bible? And of these, the most important is love. And faith, hope, and love. I have a sign that my mom gave me when I moved in my first apartment, and I keep it in my studio to have it everywhere I go. Hope makes the impossible possible. Hope makes the impossible possible. Hope makes the impossible possible. I'll say it again. Right? So faith, hope, and love. It's what we need, right? It's what we need for DeMar right now. It's what we need for each other. It's what we need for this world. So keep your faith, keep your hope, keep your love. Michael said sports is second to God. Sports for us is an escape from our daily lives. For now, sports must take a back seat, albeit momentarily. Yeah, well, my tagline for Wake Up Call is where sports meets life, right? And it's imperative that that tagline has meaning every day, every single day, where sports meets life. And, here we are talking about where sports meets life with DeMar Hamlin. And what can we do today? We can pray. We can hug our loved ones. We can call people. I don't know how many things you've needed in the last 2 years to remind you to go visit people that you care about, or to tell people how you feel, or to chase your dreams, or to not settle, or to make phone calls instead of text messages. I don't know what else you need. God has been grabbing us and looking us dead in the face and going, why don't you appreciate each other? Why don't you love each other? Why aren't you good to each other? Why do you hate each other? Why are you so mean to each other? I don't know what else you need. Don't let DeMar Hamlin be another thing you care about for a day, and then you go back to being a mean person. Remember COVID when you were trapped in your house? Remember that? Remember when you couldn't leave, where you couldn't do anything, you couldn't see anybody? People were depressed. People that had suffered from addiction were doing drugs again or drinking again. People were locked in the house and were finding it hard to deal with life. You remember that? And then we got let out, and some of us came out like wild animals, just scratching at people. And other people came out and looked at the sun a different way and heard the birds a different way and, appreciate things. It's one thing to learn something, it's another thing to keep learning it. And it's a whole other thing to learn nothing at all, or to learn and forget. COVID should have taught you how to be a better person, a more caring person, a more thankful person, a more prayerful person. It should have taught you about God. It should have taught you about the importance of being good to people, being good to yourself, about health, mental health, physical health, emotional health, social health, spiritual health, monetary health. About not settling, about not being, some of us were trapped in houses because we settled. Some of us were making the most of being in the house, loving up the people that we maybe didn't appreciate as much. And some of us were in houses with the people that we do appreciate, and we continue to appreciate them, maybe in a different way, maybe even more. COVID wasn't, I'm trapped. Unless you settled in your marriage, then you probably were trapped. There's a lot more divorces are happening during COVID. Yeah, because people settled, but what did you do? You could leave the house. People settled, but they didn't have to see you every day. They come in and out, back and forth. It's amazing what a busy schedule can do, that years go by and you're still married to the same person 14 years in, and you're like, gosh darn it, I don't like this person at all, but I never have to see them, so this is good. I never have to face my problems. Well, COVID made you face your problems. You think God gave us COVID? No. But God's an opportunist. You think God threw Damar Hamlin on the ground? No. But God's an opportunist. God is saying in these moments, come to me, love me, pray with me, be good to each other, care about each other. Don't care about Damar Hamlin today. Care about Damar Hamlin every day. Those Buffalo Bills players that were extremely emotional, the way his team got around him, the way that the Bengals got around him, the way the stadium got quiet, that is something. But if everybody was healthy and nobody fell on the ground and nobody needed CPR, nobody got carried out in an ambulance, people would be screaming at each other, swearing at each other, yelling at each other, getting in fights in the bathroom, getting in fights in the parking lot, throwing beer on each other, calling each other names, beating each other up, swearing, screaming, people on Twitter saying horrible things to each other, Facebook, Instagram, saying all these things. I won, you suck. That's what would have happened. If nothing happened to Damar Hamlin last night negatively, hate would have been all over that game. Don't let it take tragedy for you to be a good person. Don't let it take tragedy for you to be kind to each other. This morning, people are already using Damar Hamlin as a political agenda. People are already trying to position what happened to him into their want and desire to be famous, to be seen. People are already working Damar Hamlin into their agenda. Oh, we have to talk about Damar Hamlin today because if we don't, it makes us look bad. Oh, we need to talk about Damar Hamlin today because we have to use it for this. No, you have to talk about Damar Hamlin today because you're human. You don't have to, but you can because you are a human being. You're human. You know what I was doing when that happened to Damar Hamlin? I was sitting in a comfortable couch or chair, eating a free meal from the amazing people at the Cotton Bowl Classic in a room that was set up as like an adult playland with games and couches and TVs everywhere and awesome ambiance and music, everything. I was sitting in paradise when that happened. And after it happened, I prayed repeatedly, over and over and over again, because that was more important than what I was doing. Now, I enjoyed myself. I had a good time. I shot pool. I ate great food. But Damar Hamlin was on my mind. Not because he needed to be, not because he had to be, not because it was the right thing to do publicly, but because to me, when a brother or sister in Christ has something happen, we are called to hold hands and to pray. We are called to be there. And I want to commend the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals for caring. I want to commend Roger Goodell and the NFL for caring in the NFLPA. What we saw happen last night was an organization that makes millions, if not billions of dollars, say nothing is more important than the life of one of our people. How many companies do you know would do that? Shut down a whole place because somebody passed away of cancer, or somebody's battling a heart condition, or whatever. How many businesses do you know would shut down? Would stop to do the right thing? How many are, if you're a business owner, would you stop to do the right thing? Do you? Have you? Because doing the right thing is doing the right thing. It's not doing the right thing when it's convenient. It's not doing the right thing when we want to look good on camera. Doing the right thing is not a sometimes thing. It's an everyday thing. Well, Dan, I don't know what the right thing is to do. Well, caring and loving people will always be the right thing. Being good to people, being good to yourself, taking care of yourself will always be the right thing. You know, Greg said even with this awful tragedy, there was still plenty of ugliness and selfishness across media and social media. Yeah, and I saw some of it this morning. And you know what, Greg? I'm not going to give those people power by, well, we don't take personal attacks on the show here no matter what. But I'm not going to give value to the hate we see out there. I'm going to mention that it's there because I'm not going to pretend like it's not. But the best way to fight hate is with love. What did Martin Luther King Jr. say? That darkness cannot drive out darkness, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can drive out the darkness. I'm paraphrasing, but I am sitting here today with you so grateful to be in the seat I'm in. And if I don't pray for my brother, Damar Hamlin, if I don't say something, and I'm not saying it so that boost my ratings. I don't care if one person listens to the show as long as it affects somebody in a positive way. I'm not here to Damar. I'm here, and I've really stayed away from what other people are saying. I haven't listened. I haven't watched. Because to me, I was like, I don't want to hear anybody's agenda. I just want to pray for Damar. I have a very close relationship with God, and it's the closest relationship I have. And last night I was like, all right, let's pray. And I want to do more. God, what can I do? What can I do? And Greg said he wishes the NFL would do more of the right thing. I do too, Greg. I do too. Unfortunately, businesses do things. Sometimes they do the right thing because it makes them money or it makes them look good. I think last night the NFL did the right thing. I think the NFL wasn't caring about money yesterday. I think the NFL literally yesterday, I can't name another time where it looked as simple as this, But I think the NFL yesterday did the right thing. They cared. They put money aside. They put the game aside. They put the playoffs aside. They put everything aside. I mean, you emptied an entire stadium. You told everybody to go home. You know? I'm sure there were people calling in at midnight to the ticket offices, give me my money back, screw you. You know? I would want my money back. Probably could wait till the next day to figure out what they were going to do, but if you're screaming about wanting your money back and you're not praying, you need to check yourself. You know, I call it the neighborhood approach, right? My neighbor got robbed, but it wasn't me, so I don't have to care. You know, my neighbor got attacked. I didn't get attacked. My neighbor had a meteor hit his lawn, her lawn, but not my lawn, so I don't need to help them. My neighbor. It happened to my neighbor. It didn't happen to me. And that's how a neighborhood breaks apart, because you keep saying, well, it's my neighbor down the street that it happened to. It was my neighbor 5 doors down, 4 doors down, 3 doors down, 2 doors down, 1 door, next door neighbor. And then it happens to you because you watched it happen to everybody else and you did nothing. Eventually that comes to your doorstep. And then you're looking for your neighbors, and your neighbors are like, well, you weren't here for us. So you might have a good Samaritan that's like, hey, I'm not going to do unto me what you do unto you what you did unto me. Or you're going to have people that are going to shut their door like you did. You have to help people, and you have to care about people, and you have to love people. You have to make it inconvenient for yourself sometimes to help somebody else, because it's not always convenient to help other people, right? I'm not a cop. So if somebody broke into somebody's house, I don't have this, that, and whatever, right? I don't have my baton. I don't have my handcuffs. But if somebody broke into my neighbor's house, then I have to do everything I can to save my neighbor. I have to do everything to keep my neighbor safe. I can't just shake my head and go, well, you know, can you be the human being that can listen to people in a fight beating each other up next door? Can you listen to that and say nothing? Can you listen to domestic violence and keep your mouth shut? I can't. I can't. You know, we have to do more. We have to do more to look out for each other and to help each other. It's not good enough to just say, well, it's not happening to me. Because what if it happens to you someday and you're like, well, the world prayed for Damar Hamlin. Who's praying for me? Stop being selfish. Start caring and start realizing that the more you help others, it eventually comes back. Being selfless is the only way. Being kind is the only way. And when I say being selfless, it doesn't mean don't care about yourself. It means care about other people. Right? And I'm not here to politically correct, go through every single sentence that I say and describe it to you. Because if I say a sentence and then have to defend the sentence, and so every sentence I say, I defend a sentence, I'm going to say 5 sentences and the show's going to be over. And 2 hours is going to be me defending every word that I say, and by the time I defend it, it's over, it's done. Stop living in that society, okay? Stop. We have to stop living in that society. We have to. The politically correct society. There's nothing correct about politics. So I don't even know what politically correct means. I don't. What I know is you do the right thing. Every time. You learn from your mistakes. You be good to people. You help people. You pray to God. The more we take God out of society in America, the more America has sunken. Look at it. There is a direct correlation between the fall of America and taking God out of everything. America is not as beautiful as it was when I was little. And God was in a heck of a lot more, pardon me, Lord. God was in a heck of a lot more when I was a kid. Now, it doesn't mean God isn't there. It means people are taking him out. You can't put God in schools. You can't put God in the community. You can't put God in the window. You can't say Merry Christmas. You can't do this. You can't do that. Look at the world today. Look at the world today. I had to watch a broadcast last night, and this is why I stayed away from stuff. I had to watch a broadcast last night where a guy was like, the power of people. Damar Hamlin, this is showing us that people are powerful. No, God is powerful. We are simply his creation. And yes, praying is powerful, but what are we praying to? And then he's like, we pray to the skies. Or whatever he said. He's like, we pray up above. We pray to the up above. What is the up above? He was more afraid of getting canceled than saying, we pray to God. If you're about Damar Hamlin, then you look your boss in the eye and say, I'm going to say God on the air. If you fire me, then I'm going to sue you for the First Amendment, my freedom of religion and freedom of speech. But where have we come as a society where people are cautioning themselves and PCing themselves that as we're praying for the life of a human being, as we're praying for Damar Hamlin to be okay, we're still thinking about, what words can we use? What pronouns can we use? How can we handle the statement in such a way? What did I say on the show today? We're going to pray to God. And I welcome people that are of every religion to pray with me. That's what I said today. What did I say wrong? Nothing. So, I would suggest to you to take social media with a grain of salt, because people really do have mental disease and they share it on social media. And I pray for those people. I pray to God. I meet an atheist and they're like, what are you going to do? And I want to pray to God that your soul be saved. I'm going to pray to God that you see God, you find God. I'm going to pray for you, Mr. and Mrs. Atheist, agnostic. I'm going to pray for you. Because I want to see you in heaven someday. I make jokes and I say things about, we'll never see that person in heaven. Well, I hope we see everybody in heaven. I hope we see everybody, because that would mean that everybody repented and everybody changed their ways and became a good person or stayed a good person, and we all got home together. That's what I want. That's what I want for us, for everybody. I want everybody to eat. I want everybody to sleep well. I want everybody to have a place to sleep. I want everybody to have clothes and drink, to have love. I want everybody to have all of the blessings of God. I don't want some of us to have some. I want all of us to have all. Even the people that don't like me, because I didn't do anything to make them not like me. And if they don't like me, that's their problem. It's not my problem. I've never wanted to hurt anybody. I haven't been perfect. My actions haven't always been great. My words haven't always been great. But I'm sorry for my mistakes that I make. I'm sorry for my choices that I've made that haven't always been great. But I can promise you, I've never wanted to see somebody hurt forever. I've never wanted to see somebody in pain. I've had people say horrible things to me, do horrible things to me, and they cry in front of me, and then I hug them in the middle of it, knowing that I'm hurt, knowing that I'm confused, knowing that they just threw a bunch of spears into my chest. But I'm going to hug them because I still don't want to see them cry. This world can get a lot farther with empathy, compassion, love, than it can get with anything else. Faith, hope. Just be good to each other, all right? Damar Hamlin doesn't need you today. Damar Hamlin needs you every day. Damar Hamlin needs you when you're driving next to him on the road. Damar Hamlin needs you when his kids are going to school with your kids. Damar Hamlin needs you when you're checking him out at the grocery store, right? Ringing up his stuff. Damar needs you in the factories that are getting all those goods and services together to come out to help us to have what we need. DeMar needs you to make good decisions in the neighborhood you're in. DeMar doesn't need you today. DeMar needs you every day. I don't need you today. I need you every day. I'm not going to ever get married again if that woman's going to be there for me sometimes. I need her every day. I don't want my kids to be that. My little kid, my little Lily, I don't want her sometimes. I want her every day. If I wanted her sometimes, then I don't deserve to be her dad. Oh, I only want her when I go on walks because she'll help me pick up girls. I want Lily every day, in every moment, because she means the world to me, more than the world to me, more than life. We need each other every day, not when it's convenient, not when something bad happens. We need each other every day. Every day. And if you haven't learned that, then you haven't learned one of the biggest lessons in life. That if you are not living every day, you're not living. If you're not giving every day, you're not giving. If you're not praying every day, you're not truly into your relationship with God. Commitment is a huge part of it. I pray when I need something. I'm nice to my wife when I want something. Oh, I'm nice to my boss and I suck up when I want a promotion. Oh, I'm good to my friends when I need a ride from the airport. It's not being good. It's not being nice. It's not being kind. It's being somebody who makes decisions based on circumstance. You're a circumstantial friend. You're a circumstantial partner. You're a circumstantial believer in God. Don't be a person who loves when it's convenient and asks when there is tragedy. Nobody would want their mom or dad to show up to the games where they knew we were going to play and we scored 20 points. We want our parents to show up to the games when we're on the bench, because those are the tougher games where you want to be out there and you feel like you can help the team, and your parents are sitting there hoping, praying that you'll get out there, knowing that you will be in pain when you don't, but they still come. Who would want to have parents going, I haven't played the last 5 games, I'm not coming to see you, you suck? Who would want those parents? Those aren't parents. Those are circumstantial beings. Don't be a circumstantial being. Okay? How would you like it if God was circumstantial? I'll be here with you when it's convenient. I'll answer your prayers when it's convenient. I'll listen to you when it's convenient. I will be your God if I'm not busy. Nobody would want that. So, stop being the antithesis of what you don't want. I'm a firm believer that people that believe in God, people that don't believe in God, people that are selfish and people that are selfless are all the same when it comes down to they would never want somebody to let them down. They would never want somebody to not do what they say they're going to do. They would never want somebody to screw them over. They would never want somebody to hurt them. So if that's the case, then why are you hurting other people? Why are you trying to hurt God? What are you doing? Nobody wants bad things to happen to them, but some people are totally fine giving bad things to other people. That's the one thing I can say atheists and believers have in common, and good people and not so great people have in common, is nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody. So why hurt anybody? We'll be back right after this fast break to speak on my experience in the Cotton Bowl. I know it's been a long road to get to what I want to talk about this morning, but there's more important things in life. And I needed to take a back seat to talk about being good to each other and to say a prayer for Damar Hamlin. Continued prayers. Continued love, continued support. Not just for Damar, but to everybody that needs a prayer this morning, because not everybody plays on an international stage. Not everybody is in the NFL. Not everybody's in the entertainment industry. not everybody had eyes on them like Damar. There are people fighting for their lives right now in and out of hospitals that need your prayers too. So when you pray for Damar today, pray for everybody.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. Of course, we are on the road. You can see behind me the picture that I took from the press box of the Tulane Green Wave becoming champions of the 87th Cotton Bowl Classic here in 2023, New Year's Six Bowl, one of the bowls that is involved in the rotation of the college football playoff. And a really awesome thing about it, they rotate from being in the college football playoff semifinal round and then a New Year's Six Bowl, and they keep swinging through that. So they're one of the New Year's Six Bowls and part of the college football playoff. And as the college football playoff expands in 2024, they will have the opportunity to be a part of the college football playoff all the time. There'll either be a college football playoff semifinal game or there'll be a college football playoff quarterfinal game, as the games are going to, obviously there's going to be more games inside of the college football playoff to decide our national champion, 12 teams, which I think is fair. I think it's good. I'm very excited about it and definitely looking forward to it. I want it to expand to, I'm more than happy with 12. I was hoping to expand to at least 8 or 10 when I heard that it was going to be 12. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. So got more than I asked for. So excited about that. The Cotton Bowl Classic, an amazing, amazing experience. And we're here inside of the Cafe Football studios. Cafe Football on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road right by the airport. So for those of you from Dallas-Fort Worth area that are coming up to Syracuse, make sure you stop there, corner Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse at their drive-through location. You could find Cafe Football. And for those of you here in Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington, where we're broadcasting live from this morning on Wake Up Call in Texas, you can go to cafekubal.com. That's cafe, Kubal.com, and order from them and have it shipped right down here to Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington, or wherever you are in Texas and around the world. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, so make sure that you head out to cafekubal.com today. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping, and Mon Paz also available to you all around the world here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and beyond. You can go to MaandPazPopcorn.com. That's Ma and Paz and spelled out, MaandPazPopcorn.com. Go there this morning and pick out any one of their popcorn and kettle corn flavors, or a bunch of them, and have them shipped right to your doorstep. And by the way, for those of you down here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington area, the owner is a huge, huge supporter of those Cowboys, a big-time Dallas Cowboy fan, and he's been down here to AT&T Stadium. So for Dallas, Fort Worth, and Arlington, you have a special connection to Ma and Paz that maybe you didn't even know about. Go to MaandPazPopcorn.com this morning and get some of the most incredible snacks that you're ever going to get, and definitely worth having them shipped to you. And I love that they're in my backyard on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. If you're in town in central and upstate New York, go to 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, and get any one of their tins, any size, the small ones all the way to the gigantic tins that they have. If you buy any tin on site, on location at Ma and Paz, you could bring it in for the rest of your life and get half price refills. So make sure you do that. And if you're out of town, go to MaandPazPopcorn.com to find all of their flavors that you can have shipped right to your doorstep, and all of the awesome snacks that they have. So inside of MaandPazPopcorn.com is what's popping. USC, the Trojans, went up against the Tulane Green Wave, the Trojans of the Pac-12, the Green Wave of the American Athletic Conference, aka AAC. They're in the Cotton Bowl at AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Both of these teams. So we're going to start things off. I appreciate them for taking some time with me. Once again, Mekhi Blackman and Justin Dedich coming to you, the student athletes and coaches from within it.
For you both, just, like Coach said, bittersweet ending, but what you can say about what you did do this season and how you find those positives even in a tough locker room right now.
I would say it's hard to be happy with what we did this year with the day we just had. So obviously I just need 24 hours to get over that, and then I'll be able to tell you guys how I'm feeling about the whole year. So how I'm feeling.
Being a part of the previous season, you know, I'm unbelievably proud of this program and the turnaround. Obviously, there's still some that we need to do as players, you know, and bring it together so we can finish these games in the fourth quarter. Because that's the difference playing in national championship.
That coming once again from the USC Trojans in my conversation with Mekhi Blackman, a cornerback on the team, and right guard Justin Dedich of the team that was here representing the Pac-12 inside of AT&T Stadium for the Cotton Bowl Classic. And now we go to what I'm calling the Cotton Bowl Broadcast Corner. We continue the Cotton Bowl Broadcast Corner, the CBBC. So I wanted to mirror that. CB for Cotton Bowl, BC for Broadcast Corner, so have that be a mirror in those words. The Cotton Bowl Broadcast Corner continues with my conversation with linebacker Dorian Williams, running back Tajay Spears, and tight end Alex Bauman. I asked them all about last season and seeing this team go 2-10 and now be 12-2 at the end of the season. Just the big turnaround that this team has had. I asked them each their thoughts on this, and good morning to Alan as well. Appreciate you, Alan, for being here. So this is what the Tulane Green Wave had to say to me in our conversation about 2-10 to 12-2 from last season to this season.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com for each of you student athletes. 2-10 last season, 12-2 this season, champions of the Cotton Bowl, champions of the American. Just what this turnaround's meant and that belief in each other.
I know we all believe, 2-10, that wasn't our best foot forward. We all knew we was a better team than what we showed. And then Coach Kirk came in, he installed a different mindset in the team. This is a real life family, and I commit to that. I know all these guys, look at him like he's our dad, man, and these guys are my brothers, man. I think that's the biggest change that we had.
Even like with last year, 2-10, like most of the games come within 5 points. So we knew we had to finish on our end. So that's like, to go back off of what he said, like we went into the offseason, okay, now it's time to play together. Now it's time to hold each other accountable. I think that's the biggest thing going into from last season to this season. Everybody was getting held accountable. So we held Coach Fritz accountable on some occasions too. But like that's just the respect level that we got for each other, man. Without him, we wouldn't have did it. We wouldn't have did it. Him getting his great coaching staff and everything else, man. So we wouldn't have did it without him.
I think my experience is a little different from theirs because I wasn't on the team last year, but since I got here in the summer, the competitiveness and the intensity that Coach Hester brought and all the coaches brought and every single player on the team brought, it just showed that we were destined to do something and win a lot of games this year as opposed to what happened last year.
That coming once again from the Tulane Green Wave in the trio that were sitting on the dais. Linebacker Dorian Williams, running back Tajay Spears, and tight end Alex Bauman, all huge parts of this game. Dorian Williams in the defense shutting out the USC Trojans after the Trojans were up 45-30 with 4:30 to go in the game. Tajay Spears 4 touchdowns in the game, and Alex Bauman catching the game-winning touchdown and being a big part of the trust that quarterback Michael Pratt had in his receivers and going to Alex Bauman late, the true freshman here. And so let's go to Michael Pratt and my conversation with the quarterback of this team. Ice water in his veins, I think, is an understatement, as I had an opportunity to speak with Michael Pratt about being down by 15 with 4:30 to go, 16 unanswered points, that, completing a 4th and 6, completing a 4th and 10, and so much more. So here's my conversation with Michael Pratt here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as we broadcast live from Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington area here in Texas, right after the Tulane Green Wave rolled in to the great state of Texas and came out with a Cotton Bowl Classic victory, 46-45. Here's my conversation with quarterback Michael Pratt. here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We appreciate you being here, as always. 16 unanswered points after being down 45-30 with, I think, 4:30 to play. Yep. Just bring me into how this team locked in and what some would have considered insurmountable odds.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the leadership, all throughout the year. Like I've talked about a lot this year is obviously the adversity we went through last year, being 2-10, being relocated, losing a lot of close games. We kind of had a flip to switch. We had two choices, come January when we got back to work is, make excuses and really cry about, the outcome of things, or we could, turn around and get back to work and work even harder because, obviously there were things that we needed to fix. Just the leadership, the amount of guys that stepped up, the leadership from all the captains, Sincere, Dorian, Nick, other guys, Joey Claybrook, Tajay, just holding people accountable. We knew what we were striving for. We had a lot of player-led meetings, and at the end of every player-led meeting, obviously we had like a slideshow, and the last slide was always the conference championship trophy. Being able to obtain that and win that game and being able to come here, I think was just a testament to all the work that we put in.
How do you lock in as a quarterback on 4th and 6, on 4th and 10, and keep the drive alive on plays like that?
You just got to take a deep breath. You got to take a deep breath, and the moment can't be too big. You just got to trust your training. Our coaches have done a phenomenal job putting us in the best position to be successful all throughout the year. So I think just play calling. Can't say enough about the offensive line and what they've done. So like I said, just putting us in the best position to be successful. And, obviously you just got to make plays at that point. And, on the one that I ran, kind of opened up. And then the one that I threw to Alex, we were just in a great position to make a play.
And you mentioned what Alex Bauman did. I mean, being a freshman, not being on the team last season, and you trusting him. Obviously, he had to be up for the moment. But why did you trust him over the middle on that pass?
The work that he's put in, he's been, the same dude every single day. He comes to practice, he works his butt off every single day. He holds people accountable. If I would have transferred here this year and first met him, I wouldn't have thought he was a freshman. He's a mature dude. He does everything the right way. He is, his attitude and effort is phenomenal each and every day. And he's a guy that holds me accountable. He holds everybody else accountable. And, I knew in that situation that he was going to be able to make a play. So.
And just a final note for you to be American Athletic Champions, Cotton Bowl champions. Can we now say that Tulane is a top 10 national team?
I think we can. We'll leave that up for everybody else, but I would say yes, sir.
Michael Pratt saying he said, we'll leave it up to everybody else, but I would say yes, sir, with a smile on his face, and I appreciate that. They are a top 10 team. I think people need to get to know and understand that it should be what you do and not what people think you're going to do or, just your reputation. Oh, well, we really like that team, so let's put that team up there. No, it should be what you actually do. Tulane put the work in. Tulane is 12-2. Tulane won the Cotton Bowl over USC. Tulane has had themselves a darn good season, and they deserve what they have worked hard for. And so I don't think you could take anything away from the Tulane Green Wave. I know people try to. I know people, because they're not certain teams out there that we all know. But here we are this morning, and the Tulane Green Wave, once again, continue to shine, continue to do well, continue to be effective, continue to win what's in front of them, right? So I give a lot of respect to the Tulane Green Wave. I believe they're a top 10 team. I do. and people can say otherwise. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I believe they're a top 10 team. I really do. Including the fact that a bunch of the teams ahead of them had 3 losses, which I think is laughable and ridiculous. Utah, Kansas State, Florida State, Oregon all had 3 losses ahead of them going into the bowl season. So I believe they're a top 10 team. By the way, Kansas State, a team that they beat, was above them in the college football playoff rankings. Kansas State was 9th, Tulane was 16th, and Tulane beat them head-to-head. So how do you put Kansas State above Tulane, let alone so many spots above them, 7 spots above them? So, mind you, they played Kansas State and beat Kansas State on the road at Kansas State. So they won at Houston, which is not an easy thing to do. And, they lost to UCF and avenged that loss in the American Athletic Championship game. They beat Cincinnati on the road, which is also a very tough thing to do. And they end the season 12-2 after getting a victory over USC 46-45 in a comeback win where their defense, their offense, and the special teams all got involved. Awesome. What did Greg have to say? Has there been a recent comparable D1 football team that went from 2 wins to a top 10 team nationally in 1 year? It's a good question, Greg. Yeah, I would say not necessarily 2-10, but Cincinnati in the first season with Luke Fickell was 4-8, and they quit, and then they shifted into being a winning team. It wasn't that big of a jump, but there was a jump with Luke Fickell over the first couple seasons. I would say UCF is probably somewhat comparable coming from the American Athletic Conference because they went 0-12 and then they went 6-6 and then they went undefeated. So they didn't do a jump in 1 year. It was over 2 years, but they went from literally the bottom of the barrel to 500 to undefeated. So you go from losing every game to winning as many as you lost to winning every game, which is insane. I mean, you literally saw them hit both ends of the spectrum and the equator line within 3 years. So I would say that that's somewhat comparable. But yeah, I mean, Tulane making the change that they made, what other team could be similar to that? Well, I'd say the Jacksonville Jaguars in their own right, not a 2-loss team, but a team that went from the worst team in the NFL to now potentially, if they win this weekend, hosting a playoff game, which is really incredible. So, there's a lot to be said about Tulane, and there's a lot to be said about, them not. There's similarities with the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's similarities with UCF. There's similarities with Cincinnati, but going from 2-10 to 12-2 and winning a New Year's Six bowl is pretty insane. And pretty amazing, and puts them in a very unique category of teams. But see, that's the thing, though. Tulane is not a 2-win team, and Willie Fritz talked about that, and it's true. For those people that actually take the time to look at the Tulane Green Wave, under Willie Fritz, they're not a team that's a crappy team, right? 2-10 last year was very atypical. I think Philip Montgomery didn't get the credit for what he did with the Tulsa Golden Hurricane because his records didn't adequately show. I mean, there was a season where they were 4-8 and easily could have flipped to 8-4. Easily could have been 8-4. Could have flipped the whole thing from 4-8 to 8-4. So, looking at Tulane here last season, they lost to Oklahoma on the road at Oklahoma when Oklahoma's ranked 2 in the country, 40-35. So this is their 2-10 season. So they lose to Oklahoma first game of the season at the second-ranked nationally Oklahoma Sooners on the road at their home in Oklahoma, and Tulane loses that game 40-35. Right? Now they lost big to Ole Miss. Against UAB, they were within a touchdown. And then you look at some of these other games. So those are 2 games that could have been a victory. At UCF, 14-10. They went to overtime with Tulsa and lost that game. And then Memphis, they played to a 33-28 loss. So you got, 1, 2, 3, at least 4, if not 5, 5 games. So you got 5 games there. So they're 2-10, and arguably they could have ended the season 7-5 last year. So it's not, sometimes these records, when people just simply look at the records but don't watch the games or watch the teams, they're not as bad as you think they are. And oftentimes they're far better. But, that's the thing. Not enough media people want to give credit where credit is due to the American Athletic Conference. They'd rather give credit to other conferences like the Big Ten, who played, and I make the juxtaposition, and again, this is not This is not an attacking of the Big Ten. This is, I would say this about any conference that gets an unfair advantage. It just so happens to be the Big Ten. Is that there's been so many years where the American Athletic Conference played all these tough conference games, but the teams were unranked. Now, mind you, in order to get ranked, you got to win games, but you also have to have people in the media that like you, and you have to have the coaches give you respect, because the coaches vote and the media votes. It's not always. Pretty much every single year, we can argue that teams are not always where they should be in the rankings, because some people don't do their homework, some people don't care, some people, have agendas, and human beings are flawed. So, you look at some of this stuff, and that's reality, right? That's the reality of it all, is that as much as you may be a good team, Boise State, Coastal Carolina, UCF, Cincinnati, Tulane, Memphis at times, you're not going to get what you've earned because they've already reserved those spots for Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State and Michigan were set up at the beginning of the season to get into the college football playoff. They were set up to be there. They were set up in the first ranking of the College Football Playoff Committee when they put their first college football playoff rankings out this season to get in. They were set up to be in. When you have that unfair advantage, because you think about it, the Big Ten this year had a bunch of unranked teams, and Ohio State and Michigan ran through them. But when UCF, Cincinnati, and Tulane run through unranked teams in the American, it doesn't matter. And what did they say to the American? Well, your conference isn't strong enough. Why? Because you don't have a lot of ranked teams that you're playing up against. Okay, well, the Big Ten wasn't strong enough this year. Why? Because they didn't have a lot of ranked teams that they were going up against. You can't make an argument for the American. You can't make an argument for the Big Ten and have that be the argument against the American when it's the same argument. If you tell the American your teams in your conference aren't ranked, so we don't value your schedule as much and we don't value your wins as much because of that, then how can you say to the Big Ten, well, you played unranked teams like the American did, you beat those teams, and now we're going to put you not only in the top 25, top 15, top 10, but in the top 3, top 4? Are you kidding me? Cincinnati, UCF, Tulane. If you're going to argue Ohio State and Michigan, then you have to argue those teams in. And you have to retroactively go back in time and put them into the college football playoff, which you won't do. And you can't. So, what did I say? Do the right thing every time, not just sometimes. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We are live to start off the new year. Insane. I wanted to be here since I was a little kid, and now I get to start a new year off from here. Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington area. Coming off of being in the Dallas Cowboys' home of AT&T Stadium for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, the 87th Cotton Bowl Classic, and getting to see Tulane go up against USC. Tulane with a 1-point victory, 46-35. And we will talk with the Tulane Green Wave as we continue my Q&As with the winning team that is now 12-2 under Willie Fritz, and you'll hear from Willie Fritz as well right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You can see behind me on my backdrop here is the picture that I took from the press box at the end of the game with the Tulane Green Wave becoming your Cotton Bowl champions, 46-45 in a comeback with 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Think about that, folks. Think about what you can do in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Think about what you do in your house in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. In 4 minutes and 30 seconds time, a team down 45-30 scored 16 unanswered points to win the game by 1 point. An instant classic. One of the greatest Cotton Bowls, in my opinion, ever played. One of the greatest college football games ever played. 16 unanswered points, and all you have to do is ask yourself, to put it into real context, what you do with 4.5 minutes. What will you do with 4.5 minutes today? Because Tulane changed the ending of their season in just 4.5 minutes. Really does tell you that every second counts, right? We're going to continue our conversations with the Tulane Green Wave by starting things, or by continuing here with my one-on-one conversations with the student athletes. We're going to go to defensive tackle Patrick Jenkins. Patrick Jenkins in this game had a huge moment. He's the one that created the safety. Now, if he didn't get that safety in the fourth quarter of the game, then the touchdown and extra point wouldn't have meant anything, because the team would have needed to make up for those 2 points there. So you take those 2 points away, they lose 45-44. So that safety was huge by Patrick Jenkins on a rush attempt by USC. They tried to rush once, almost had a safety, and when they rushed a second time, they were able to. I don't know why USC did it. They tried to run up the middle. It didn't work. They almost got knocked down for a safety, and then they did it on the very next play and did get knocked down for the safety the second time around. So absolutely incredible play by the Tulane Green Wave as we go into our conversation with Patrick Jenkins to talk about that play and so much more here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we broadcast live to start the new year from the great state of Texas, the Lone Star State, from the Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington area, coming off the Cotton Bowl Classic played at Cowboys Stadium at AT&T Stadium right here in Arlington, Texas. Well, 16 unanswered points when they were up 45-30. Just bring me into how this team locked in.
We just had to keep believing in our coaches. We knew we was in the game. We just knew we had to keep fighting.
Coach Fritz, I heard a lot of the student athletes talk so highly of him, and obviously, just what your thoughts are on what he's done for the program.
Man, he's an amazing coach. He's continues to tell you to push, to fight, and everything you do in life. He's just an amazing coach.
Bring me into what you saw on the field today, just what your experience was like going up against USC and your takeaways from a team that obviously had a lot of national hopes this year.
They were a very good team, a very tough opponent, and we just knew we had to control Caleb Williams and try to hold him down.
He had 5 touchdowns, 37 of 52. What do you feel like the team did right against him in this game?
I feel like we just kept coming out, and we never laid down.
And the safety, bring me into that.
It was just an amazing play call by my coaches, and I executed it. It was just crazy play, and we just made a statement.
Without that safety, there is no victory like this. So just bring me into obviously how crucial and how important that was and how you stayed locked in.
I knew I had to make a big play for the game to get closer, so I just made a play, and we won.
Is that the best play for you in your history? Is that going to go down as the best so far?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Best play of my life. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Congratulations. Best play of his life. Patrick Jenkins, a safety in the fourth quarter. And without that safety, it goes from a 1-point victory to a 1-point loss. That's how important that safety was to the Tulane Green Wave. Coming up next here on the broadcast, my conversation with cornerback Jarius Monroe. Jarius Monroe had a very interesting moment himself defensively for the team as the starting corner, Jarius Monroe, was flagged for pass interference on a play where it looked like both him and the receiver tripped separate of each other, and Jarius Monroe looked to just lose his footing and fall forward and didn't even seem like he touched the USC receiver at all. He was flagged for pass interference, which gave a new set of downs and helped to move USC up the field. On the very next play, Jarius responded to that pass interference call by turning around and intercepting Caleb Williams for Caleb Williams' only interception on the day. Here is my conversation with Jarius Monroe here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Talk about, Greg was talking about, look at this turnaround from Tulane, 2-10 to 12-2. Look at this amazing, rare feat that they accomplished. Well, I would say as part of that turnaround, look at the turnaround of Jarius Monroe, who was flagged for pass interference and then literally turned around and intercepted the ball. Well, just what you could say about that pass interference call, and then right after that call to grab the interception. I mean, it seemed like you wanted to write that really quickly.
Yeah, I just tried to play my game and don't get it too hot or too low. Things are going to happen within the game, and you just got to bounce back from them. So that's what my coach has been teaching me all year. I've learned so much from my coaches, and I wasn't the player I am today without them.
The lock-in mentality that you had, though, to right after that pass interference call, gave him a new set of downs, new opportunity to turn around and grab that interception. Just bring me into mentally being strong enough to let that go immediately and then lock in again.
I know my coaches trust me. I know my teammates trust me. It was next play, and the guys felt like that it was a bad call, but, things are going to happen within the game that you can't control, and that was just one of those situations, and I knew Coach Hamp was going to give us a good call to bounce back off of it, and he did, and tipped the heads off to him.
You talked about your coaches meaning so much to you. You wouldn't be the player you are today without them. Just to go a little bit deeper into the coaches here at Tulane that have really had such an effect on you.
Coach Fritz, Coach CY, Coach JJ, Coach Hampton, Coach Sherman, Coach Sabota, Coach Stone, Coach Moods. It's every coach on this coaching staff has been amazing for me, and they push confidence into me, and they trust me, and that's been the biggest thing for me, man. Our D-line coach is an amazing coach, and when he got here, it was a lot of preaching he did to me, and I listened to him a lot, and it made me a more humbler player. Even today, when I got a little hot-headed, he came over there and he calmed me down, and I appreciated that.
What made you believe, like you said, coming from Nicholls State, why did you believe Tulane was a good fit for you? What was it about this program that you felt like was building towards something?
It was a lot of programs reaching out, showing me a lot of attention, a lot of big programs, Power 5 as they say. But this program is about family. It's a winning culture, and the coaches here, like I said, Coach Fitz has built such a amazing program that it was an easy decision for me, to come home and play in front of my people. My brother played here, so it just was a blessing to get the opportunity to play here.
You said something that I greatly appreciate. You kept talking about your faith and just, all glory to God and everything. Just bring me into your faith and the presence that it has in your life on the field and off the field.
God has always been a big part of my life, and everything I've been through, I've always trusted Him. I've always prayed to Him. I've always talked to Him, and I can say recently it's picked up more, and it's not been much of me asking for things. It's just been me blessing Him and thanking Him for the opportunities that I've been given, and whatever He has in store for me, I let Him know that I'm ready. And I think that's the biggest thing for building confidence, for building heart, and I just appreciate it so much that I have God in my life, and my parents and my family preach that to me, that you can always talk to God no matter what you're going through, and that's something I would like for everybody to carry in their life. Having that higher power is a blessing.
You talk about that faith. You guys, as a family, had to have faith in each other. You're down 45-30, and coming back, I think there was 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. You scored 16 unanswered points. Just what you could say about that.
Right. Our offense is great, man. Once again, Coach Sabota has done a great job building that offense, and all the guys on that offense, they're so passionate, and we go at it every day. We talk a lot of smack to each other, but it's a whole lot of love there. So just seeing those guys persevere and keep fighting, and we try to do everything we can, scratch and claw to get back into the game, and it's just, once again, it's just a blessing.
Tulane, a top 10 team now. Finally, can we say Tulane's a top 10 national team?
You tell me. We want to be real humble about it, though.
I would say yes. I would say yes. Before this, you guys probably should have been up there, but congratulations.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
You couldn't see his face. Hopefully you could. They always say you can hear a smile on when you're hearing somebody on the radio, but he definitely, the way he looked at me when I said, "Are you guys a top 10 team?" He said, "What do you think?" And the answer is yes. And I meant what I said. They were a top 10 team before we came into it, and they've proven it, and they've proven it, and they've proven it. So when the final rankings come out after the college football championship, and Michigan and Ohio State are up in the top 10 for no apparent reason, I would love to have Tulane up there for an apparent reason, many apparent reasons, because sometimes, I would say all the time, you have to give credit to people that deserve it, that have earned it, that have done what, I don't want to say deserve it, but that have earned it, right? I'm not trying to say anything. I would say, and again, I would say this about Michigan. I would say this about Ohio State. I would say this about Texas. I would say this about Coastal Carolina and Appalachian State and Tulsa and Tulane and Temple and so on and so forth. If you don't do the work, I'm not going to promote you. And Tulane did the work, so promote them to the top 10. Michigan and Ohio State shouldn't have been in the college football playoff. They didn't do anything to get there. Now, when they got there, they gave 2 great games, but they shouldn't have been there because there were other teams that were better, and there were other teams that were more battle-tested, and there were other teams that on paper, whatever they said they were, they actually were in real life. Michigan beat a bunch of unranked teams. Ohio State beat a bunch of unranked teams. Tulane beat every team in front of them, ranked or unranked, did everything they had to do. You set them up to fail, and they won anyways. How do you tell the Lincoln Riley story of USC and not put Tulane in the top 10 for beating USC? You don't, if you're doing the right thing, for the right reasons. See, logic has to beat out, well, I have an agenda. Agendas don't belong in rankings. Reality does. Hard work, dedication, and determination does. And we're talking about hard work, dedication, and determination. I'm talking about head coach Willie Fritz. I was told when he first came into Tulane, hey, this guy, you see that guy right there? That man wins everywhere he goes, and he's going to win here. That's what I was told. And guess what? Shout out to that person who said it to me, because Willie Fritz has done exactly that. Here's my conversation with Willie Fritz, the coach of the champion Tulane Green Wave.
From that first moment that you walked into Tulane to where you are right now, just bring me into everything that you've had to do in that first feeling, stepping into the building, and now being Cotton Bowl champions.
Well, there's so many things, I couldn't mention them all, but, getting the right staff together, I feel like we've done that, and, we just had a bunch of bad luck in a few different years. These guys can tell you, there's one season, I think we lost 4 games in the last play of the game. That's tough, and we had maybe 10 wins that season, or maybe even 11 that season. So we've learned how to finish, and I feel like we've got a complete team now with offense, defense, and kicking game. Some years one side of the ball might have been a little better than the other side of the ball. So all three phases can rely on each other. There's a lot of things. I talked about recruiting the right guys, and finding guys that fit what you're looking for. And I think we've done a great job of that.
That coming once again from Willie Fritz here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We're going to take our final step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we'll come here to ramp up the broadcast. We'll be back here from Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington area down in Texas in the Lone Star State, giving you my experience, my conversations, and so much more from being here at the Cotton Bowl Classic. And first and foremost, putting God at the forefront of everything, and prayer for Damar Hamlin and everybody that needs it this morning and always. We'll take a step aside. We'll be back right after this.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Woody Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Wake Up Call on the road, as you can see behind me, AT&T Stadium with the Tulane Green Wave winning the Cotton Bowl Classic, the 87th Cotton Bowl Classic. So a big congratulations to them, and a big shout out to USC on their season out of the Pac-12, and Tulane on their season out of the American Athletic Conference. Tulane finishing 12-2, and as I believe a top 10 team in the nation. And a big time thank you to the Cotton Bowl for everything that you've done. So the final part of today's broadcast, every Tuesday we bring you the ingredients to success at the end of the show. The ingredients to success proudly brought to you by Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, right down the road from Liverpool High School. And our Liverpool Warriors Athletic monthly broadcast comes to you every single month on site exclusively at Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool. Once again, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks, as well as, and of course, drink responsibly. So make sure you head out to Avicoli's. My ingredients to success topic today is live your best life. Live your best life, okay? And always remember that beautiful kid inside of you that held all those dreams and aspirations, because if you take care of that kid version of you, right? That kid growing up that had dreams and aspirations and goals and all of that, if you take care of that kid spirit, you will become an incredible adult and you will have an incredible life. I know that we all had different childhoods, and some people went through things that are different than what other people went through. But there had to be a time in your life where you just believed in everything. You believed that you could. You believed that, oh man, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, remember when they said you're a kid and they're like, what do you want to do? And you're like, I want to be Spider-Man. I want to be Superman. I want to be Wonder Woman, right? Well, you may not be shooting webs out of your wrist, but you can be Spider-Man. You want to know why? You can be a hero. You can be a hero. You could be a police officer. You could be a firefighter. You could be an ENT, a first responder. You can be a hero. It's championing for kids. Happy the word finally came out. Championing for kids. You can be Spider-Man by making Spider-Man movies, making Spider-Man toys, making Spider-Man comic books. You can become Spider-Man by making the stories of Spider-Man. See, there's nothing that you can't be. You just have to get a little bit creative sometimes. And a lot of times you have to get creative. So live your best life. Those are my ingredients to success to you. Live your best life. Chase your dreams. Get after it. I'm going to read you the beginning of my article. Now, I implore you to go and read the article that I wrote about this game, about this Cotton Bowl Classic game between Tulane
and USC, which was so much more than a game for me. I want you to go back and read it. I want you to go back and check it out. And let me know what you think. But I'm going to read you the beginning of the article, because the beginning of the article is different than anything else I've ever written. So the article is Green Wave washes away Trojan lead, wins Cotton Bowl. And this is how the story begins. This was more than a game for the person writing you this article. The adult version of the kid who grew up with a Troy Aikman poster in a wooden frame on his wall, courtesy of his dad, who bought the poster saying simply, quote, "I saw it, and it reminded me of you," end quote. That same dad said, quote, "You better like this team forever," end quote, as he prepared to have the Dallas Cowboys logo run across the wall of his son's bedroom, a pattern that remains there to this day. As I looked around that room this past Christmas, it was different. Tangible, knowing that I would be coming to visit the home of the team I have liked since I was in elementary school. In fact, the Deion Sanders number 21 jersey that I got as a child still fit, and that was the apparel of choice for the plane ride into Arlington. As I sit here with you all reading from wherever you call home or wherever you are in your travels, I am still in awe of my surroundings. The AT&T Stadium is breathtaking, a place that can leave someone speechless, a building that just feels different. I want to thank that kid for always believing in himself, looking at those Dallas stars as he fell asleep, trusting that God is good, and when you go after your dreams, you can and will catch them. What a positive chill that runs through my body as I write this to you. And on to the game. And then from there I describe the game. So a really exciting moment for me. And like I said, it just felt different to be able to write that from my point of view and perspective, growing up the way that I did with the connection to the Cowboys and always wanting to come to their stadium since I was a little kid in elementary school. And that Dallas wallpaper, that banner that ran across, is still in my childhood bedroom. And not only is it there, but my mom and I actually painted, my mom painting the off-white color on the top, and me as a little kid painting that royal blue on the bottom. So, you know, it's a very special moment for me to be here with you and to be at AT&T Stadium, to be here covering a team in Tulane that I've covered for almost a decade, a team in USC that I've talked about through my travels of college football, my talk on college football, the Cotton Bowl Classic that I've appreciated and respected from afar and got to cover virtually during COVID, and now got to be on site for the first time ever, to be in Dallas, Arlington, and Fort Worth area to celebrate Texas this way after being in Houston, Texas, to broadcast live from Texas to start off the new year. And I want to let y'all know something really beautiful and really cool. I ended my wake-up call broadcast last year. I ended last week in 2022. I ended my broadcast on the road broadcasting live from New York City. I start off this year of 2023 on the road broadcasting live from Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington, Texas. Chase your dreams. It'll be amazing what you catch and how beautiful it'll be, and even better than what you could have even ever imagined. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora comes to you live every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, which you should bookmark and subscribe for free, and on Facebook.com / LiveNowDT. Once the shows go live, you can find them in the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and TuneIn. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And you can also ask Alexa and your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they will do that for you as well. So make sure you're listening down here in Texas and watching as well. Thank you to our incredible partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Woody Wicks, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Go to maandpaspopcorn.com worldwide. PB&J's Lunchbox. You can also go to cafecubal.com worldwide. Mother's Cupboard, Honda City of Liverpool, which is now Great Lakes Honda City. Chick-fil-A Watertown. Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay. And, of course, the wonderful people in our newest partner, 317 at Montgomery Street, the elegant, incredible restaurant with fantastic food that reminds me of eating at Walt Disney World. 317 at Montgomery Street on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. The name of the restaurant is the location of the restaurant in downtown Syracuse. And we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your from your Dolphins every first and third Wednesday of each month with AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta of Le Moyne College and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, you can find the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. And those stories are all told, including our AD and DT episodes on the Le Moyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, so make sure that you bookmark it and save it there. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for all of our Le Moyne content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Your Dolphins are more than spotlit here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will never miss a beat of what it's like to swim with these awesome dolphins. And as you know, dolphins never swim alone. The Finn family is constantly growing and always bringing in fantastic people. I cannot thank the Dolphins enough. To President Dr. Linda Lemura, to Athletic Director Bob Beretta, all the coaches and student athletes and everyone on campus that has been a Dolphin, is a Dolphin, or will be a Dolphin, because, as you know, once you connect to Le Moyne, you are always a Dolphin. Get all of our content on our wakeupcalldt.com website, on the Le Moyne tab once again, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information, go to their newly redesigned website at lemoynedolphins.com. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are also exclusive multimedia marketing partners of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. You can get the Bobcat buzz every single month. What's buzzing around those Bobcats? We had the opportunity to speak with reigning national championship coaches, I want to say that again, national championship, with Nick Dimitrievsky of the men's soccer team, their head coach, and the athletic director at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, and the assistant AD and women's soccer head coach, that being Alex Grigorita. So talking with both of these wonderful soccer coaches, soccer minds, and former soccer players on their national championship teams, their student athletes, and shifting gears to the current season, which is men's and women's basketball, covering the exclusive history of Clay Gagan Sherman as he becomes the men's basketball head coach for the first time ever at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, and Tay Baker becomes the women's basketball coach for the first time ever at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, and to cover the story of Sean Peak and his student athletes as they get set to create and bring into existence the inaugural baseball team for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse in their first ever season in history. And we've gotten to tell that story very early on. So love doing that and excited to tell more of that story. You can catch all of our Bobcat content by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com, subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and typing in Bobcat Buzz. And of course, for more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. I want to thank the Cotton Bowl Classic, Scotty Rogers, and the entire team at the Cotton Bowl for all that you have done. I want to thank Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington. I want to thank the Dallas Cowboys. I can't believe I get to say that. I want to thank AT&T Stadium. I want to thank Jerry Jones, and I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Mike Oresco. I want to thank Lincoln Riley, USC. I want to thank Mekhi Blackman and Justin Dietich for their time. I want to of USC. I want to thank Willie Fritz, as always, for his time at Tulane. I want to thank Michael Pratt, Patrick Jenkins, as well as Dorian Williams. I want to thank Tajay Spears. I want to thank Alex Bauman, and I want to give a special thanks to Jarius Monroe for all taking time to speak with me in interviews after the game. And I just want to send you all my love. I need to go out and celebrate. I am in Texas, and I wanted to give myself some extra time after the game so I could go and really experience Texas for all that it is in the Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington area. So I need to go get some barbecue, and I need to make this a memorable day just like yesterday was. So I'm going to hop off the air. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I can't believe that I get to say, well, I can believe it, and I'm so thankful to God for it, that I got to end last year's broadcast in New York City on the road. Wake Up Call OTR is the hashtag, and that I got to start 2023 on the road in Texas, and I got to go to see my Dallas Cowboys home for the first time ever, and I got to see Tulane do something that I knew that they were capable of, so God bless to them for that. I hope you all have a great day. Prayers continue up for DeMar Hamlin and everybody that needs it. And just be a good person, be good to each other. Start 2023 off. It's a clean slate, clean page. Make sure you're writing a good story. I'll talk with you all soon. Thank you for always listening to my story. Shout out to Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, for the ingredients to success of living your best life, believing in your dreams, and understanding that if you chase after everything that you want with goodness in your heart, and you do it for the right reasons, and you do it with morals and values and faith and hope and love, that you will have far much more than you could have ever asked for. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. God bless, no stress, do your best. Welcome to 2023. This little kid is now an adult, and I get to celebrate the beauty of being a little kid and an adult every day because I keep my kid spirit alive by the grace of God, and I'm going to keep working on doing that in a better way. I'm so happy to be here. I am so happy to be here, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Welcome to